Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Alexi Otts here, and it's Sunday morning. We're doing Sunday special report, and we're reporting on results from Americup yesterday. Yeah, Americup semifinals went down, and both the outcomes of both the semifinal matches were not expected. That's right. USA and Canada both losing their semifinal matchups to Brazil and Argentina, respectfully. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The first game of the day was USA Brazil, and it was Brazil led by former Raptors pick Bruno Caboclo. Yeah, they lost to USA in the group play, but barely. But they came and got revenge against them in the semifinal and put them out and put them in the third place game. So now Canada and US will play each other today for third place in the America. This is really disappointing for Canada because this if they had beaten Argentina last night, they would have a very good chance to try and win the first ever America for Canada. Canada has never won this tournament. And honestly, I had said a couple days ago that I thought they would, but man, did the Canadian team show up in a totally different way than what I expected last night. It's too bad. You know, with the US, they sent a team that they weren't really trying with. In some ways, the United States didn't really need to win Americup at all in any kind of way because they're the host country for the Olympics for the next cycle. And they're going to be there anyway. And it's like I think they've already kind of they qualified for the Olympics just by being the host country by itself. But also, I mean, they qualify because they're the gold medal champs from the last Olympics. So Americup is a tournament that doesn't really matter. And in some ways, Americup is for the other teams in the Americas to try and qualify to get there to play with the U.S. So they don't care necessarily about winning. And this is often the case. There's been a last couple cycles of Americup, a team from South America wins. So this is kind of like a big deal to teams like Brazil and Argentina. So how does a team like Brazil beat the United States? Well, this is something I've said a long, long time about FIBA action is that the other teams around the world, they have national teams that they start at a young age. Like if they find a player, like Lithuania found Jonas Valanciunas when he was like 14 years old, they put him on the national Lithuania team. And Jonas has been on the Lithuanian team now. Well, you do the math. He's over 30 now. So he's been playing for the Lithuanian team for almost 2 decades. So it's kind of like that's an accumulated experience. And the thing is, they're not switching players in and out on Lithuania like a lot. Sure, there's older guys that retire and go off in the sunset. There's younger guys who come in, but for the most part, the same kind of guys are coming every time for the national team in all their competitions in different places. So there's a serious continuity. Now, Nick Nurse, when he was the coach of Team Canada, he knew that this continuity matters. And that's why he wanted commitments for 4 years from the players that were going to be on Team Canada. Because what's the point of trying to coach guys as a nucleus if people are going to be coming in for one little thing here and then leaving, and so other people are going to come in for this and all that kind of stuff. Now, in some ways, this is what's messed up Canada and the U.S. yesterday is that, as much as Trey Bell Haynes, Kyle Whittinger, Javon Harris, Blair, Charles Bediako, these guys that played on Canada teams in the past, there's a lot of new guys on the team, and the nucleus was weird in some ways and not totally copacetic. Meanwhile, you got an Argentina team that's playing Canada last night that has no NBA players. Nobody that's known in any kind of way by me as far as internationally. This is just like, okay, this is Argentine players that I know Manu Ginobili, of course. I know the coach of the Argentinian team because I remember him playing with Manu, Pablo. But really, the Argentina team is a bunch of nobodies in the overall scale of basketball world. But why do they beat Canada? Because they play a better team game. They play better off of each other. They know each other and they trust each other better. And they know each other's strengths better in some ways. And Canada, in some ways, as much as they look gelled the other night against Colombia in their last game, they looked totally disjointed and unconnected yesterday. And it's a big reason why they lost. I didn't watch the USA Brazil game, but they lost worse to Brazil than Canada lost to Argentina. But it's crazy because Canada was getting routed by Argentina in the first half, down by 20 most of it. But they did close the gap to only 10 points by the end of the game, which is nice to see that they closed the fourth quarter out better and outscoring Argentina. But USA lost by much worse. They lost by 15. And I don't get it. I don't get it totally in some ways. Some of it is that, that's a USA team that they put out there with Jamias Ramsey, Langston Galloway, Javonte Smart, a bunch of guys who are G League kind of guys all thrown together. Some of them aren't even G League. And like I said, the talent may be better talent-wise as far as athletes, as far as possibilities for dunking and doing fancy dribbles and just being more skilled players. But this proves once again that talent does not beat team. This is my main subject today. Talent does not beat team. And this is an overwhelming truth in the basketball world that is being found in the NBA, in the FIBA, and all over the place. CBL. Talent does not defeat team. You could have three most talented players on your court, but if they are not connected, like the Brooklyn Nets a couple years ago, they will not beat a team that's lesser talented that is playing like a team. And this is what happened to both USA and Canada yesterday. That Brazil, Bruno Caboclo, and the Iago Santos, these guys have been playing together a long time. They have a lot of pride, and they have a lot of continuity of playing together as a unit. They're familiar. They've got a lot of that kind of stuff. And in some ways, man, I wish we could get nucleuses that are committed to being on the national team over and over again. People like Melvin Ejim, Trey Bell Haynes, the Scrub Brothers. These guys have been awesome for Team Canada purposes in all kinds of ways. But I still feel like the system that both the United States and Canada use to figure out their national teams is flawed. It's flawed. I think that, if you really want to do something special, Canada, and I'm not talking US, I don't care what y'all do. Whatever y'all do, you can keep doing what you're doing already. In some ways, it's very much working. That's for sure. I would say to Canada, we need to do something special. We need to have special Olympians. We need to have special players that they're designated the Team Canada guys. And we don't, and I know that there's different levels. Like this is this lower level. Not all the NBA guys are going to show up for Americup. And there should be a B team with an A team. But I really want to make it more defined. I really want to make it more prestigious. I really want to make it mean something more than it does already. Because in some ways, I can tell Argentina, Brazil, when you make that team and you play for that country, it really means something to these guys that show up and put their jersey on. And I'm not saying it doesn't mean something to the Americans or the Canadians that were at Americup, but there may be something a little more to it if it's a highly competitive field to get into. And then you have a lot of pride because you earn just the right to put on the Canada jersey and represent them internationally. Like you want to be that prestige. Like, obviously we'll have top guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, RJ Barrett, Zach Edey, Jamal Murray, people like that. We want to be on the team. But what do we have? And we could do this. They do this kind of at OVO Center. Bring in a bunch of Canadian guys, have a big training camp and call it tryouts and say, look, we're going to cut y'all. Y'all need to come in. And they do this to an extent, but they need to make sure they lock down these guys and they say, look, you are Team Canada now. And you are going to be Team Canada for the cycle, at least the 4 years to the next Olympics. We need you committed. You need you to come in here and do it. And we're going to make sure that you guys are feeling like a unit, that you guys have to work together and feel like a cohesive unit, because this is a big problem. The European teams and teams like Brazil, and Argentina are cohesive units that have been brought up together as a unit, and they play so well off each other because they know each other so well. You cannot beat time spent in experience. And unfortunately, the nature of Team USA and Team Canada does not allow for a lot of reps and time spent building chemistry between their teams. So that's why I say you get a really static team as much as possible. If you have to make a couple of moves where, well, this guy's hurt on this cycle or this tournament, here's our alternate that is designated as the extended roster. He comes in. I understand maybe you want to fill the roster in certain ways, but this could be a really good thing for Rowan Barrett Sr. and Michael Bartlett to try and get a deep roster, not a regular roster, get like a list of 40 guys. 40 to 50 guys. And that would range all the way from, and these are all senior. I'm not talking about the lower levels. I'm not talking about under 18. I'm not talking about under 16, any of that shit. I'm talking about senior men's level, whether it's Americup, the Olympics, the World Cup, whatever. They need to have a depth chart and a group that is designated. These are the premium A1 Team Canada roster. Well, this guy's not available because of this reason, because his NBA team doesn't want him to play this time, or he's hurt or whatever. All right, the next guy up on the list comes in and takes the next spot, and it should be positionally replaced too. Don't be replacing the next best available player to put in. Put in the player that's going to fit that need. If you lose a center, get a center. If you lose a point guard, get a point guard. I'm just saying, and if there's prestige to it more, and there's a more of a time built with building this chemistry, we'd get better results. I think in some ways, some of the issues that happened at Paris Olympics last year with Team Canada was partly to do with what I'm talking about today. And it was so evident last night watching Argentina just run circles around Canada, because this is the thing. Canada came out flat last night. They couldn't score. Leonard Miller was bumbling all over the place, losing the ball, and they got down like 10-0 right away at the beginning of the game. Argentina up 10-0 over Canada, smacked them right in the face. They had a game plan to come out there and smack the shit out of Canada in the face, stun them, and just keep going. And the thing was, every time Argentina had an open three-point shot, they nailed their shot. They didn't waste their chances. They didn't waste their opportunities. When they got those open shots, they put them through. And that was a big part of how they built that lead and ran circles around them. The Canada team got deflated, and they got a step slower. They stopped working hard. They played really badly on defense. And in particular, Thomas Kennedy, you're a screen door, bro. Thomas Kennedy, you're a screen door, bro. Why the hell can't you stop somebody near the basket, man? You let those jokers lay up baskets all around you down there. You're a step too slow and just ineffective as a defender, man. And that was a problem. These guys shooting threes, bombing threes, and us being able not to stop them in any kind of way down low, any kind of way. These guys were dribbling up and just laying the ball in, Argentina. It was messed up. So it's like, Canada, you really disappointed me last night. Keyshawn George, absolutely horrible, man. I feel bad because I told Isaac Campbell, he's playing like Scotty Barnes for Team Canada right now. And boy, did he not. He totally proved me wrong. He's like, no, he's not Scotty Barnes, Lex. He is shitty. He's a wizard, man. He's a wizard. Yeah, between Keyshawn George and Leonard Miller, the two NBA players on Team Canada, they shot 3 for 18 last night. 1 for 6 for Keyshawn, only 5 points, and 2 for 12 for Leonard Miller with 6 points. That's just not going to cut it, man. That's just not going to cut it. Your two most powerful offensive engines get 11 points between them, and they shoot 3 for 18. That'll stink your team so fast. And meanwhile, there's a guy on the other side named Vildoza, who's bombing out for 26 points. He's their point guard. He shoots 7 of 9 from three-point land. 8 for 13 overall. Yeah, Vildoza. Big time play for him. And they got really solid contributions from multiple players on the team. Corbalan, Bruzino, Fernandez, Valuet, Negrete. These guys all chipped in threes here and there. They were bombing threes in different places at different times, but the ringleader was Jose, and he absolutely trounced us. Absolutely trounced us. There's none of these guys I ever heard of before in my life until today, yesterday. It's crazy, man. But yeah, Canada really, really disappointing. Getting down really early. They were doubled up right from the start. It was like 30 to 15, 40 to 20, 50 to 25. And Canada didn't even have 30 points at halftime. That's messed up. That is messed up. The one guy who's trying to save them was Marcus Carr. He was doing some good stuff in the first half, trying to get the lead closed up. He got 16 points on 7 of 13 shooting, but only, alas, only so much the backup point guard could do to try and help them. Kabengele was so frustrating to me last night. He was getting a lot of dumb fouls. He was arguing with the refs a lot, and he was just bungling around the basket. There was some stuff he could have put back, and he didn't. It was just a mess. It was one of these games where everything that could go wrong went wrong. Whether it's the team being flat, not getting after the ball, Argentina was aggressive and going after loose balls and recovering them. The team was not boxing out for Canada. The defense was just not there. They could not stop Argentina from scoring. They shown in the group phase of Americup a very stingy defense, much like the Raptors, that was trapping and coughing up the ball and getting deflections and running the ball back down the court for easy layups. But none of that was there last night. Credit to Argentina for taking care of the ball well. And, Canada just being lackadaisical, not trying to get after it well enough to cough up the ball on them. You had the talented long arms of a lot of players, but they didn't get used. And it was really like they put a piss poor effort in. They were out there walking around and not running around. And that sucked. That sucked. Nathaniel Mitchell looked so pissed off. All in like the first half already. He was just pissed off the whole game. You could tell he felt, this is the thing I don't like though. He wasn't confident. It was almost like he had waved the white flag halfway through the first half because they were down so bad and Argentina was just outplaying them so bad. He had loser energy in some ways. Like he had already declared in his mind that they were going to lose. I didn't like that. I wish Mitchell had lit a fire under them and had more confidence from himself and his energy to show that, yeah, we're going to still do this, Canada. We can. Because in some ways, he fed the energy of us being losers last night. I like Coach Mitchell. I like him a lot, but he did not coach things in a confident way last night. He was very much kind of reactive to the bad stuff, but not reacting in a way where he was serene and confident and saying, look, guys, you got to do this. This is now or never. Are we going to win this or not? What are y'all doing out there? You're not working on defense. You're not getting after the ball. You need to execute. You need to make your shots. And you need to go and steal the ball and deflect and stop these guys. Because there's too many times that Argentina's dribbling the ball right down the court to the basket. And nobody's meeting the ball and stopping the ball. That's basketball 101. How come nobody's meeting the ball at half court and stopping the dribble? This man just dribbled right up the court and right to the basket and laid it up. Like, what the hell is that, Kyle Whitner? What the hell is that, Nate Darling? What the hell is that, Mfondu? You know, I wanted more of a confident energy from Nate, because Nate, in some ways, he saw the house burning down around him, and he didn't do anything about it. He kind of just went with that energy and got scared. The fear got him. I hate that. I wish he had just been, in some ways, egotistically just saw, I don't care if we're losing, and we're going to do this still. In some ways, you got to be a little crazy and a little delusional sometimes to make crazy comeback wins. And it wasn't there, man. It wasn't there. I was really disappointed in Canada. That's just the point. I wish he had played Bediako more earlier in the game. I feel like Charles Bediako is a great defensive player. He's a good shot blocker, and he is a good person in the lane to kind of patrol and just stymie the teams, other teams on the low post. But Bediako only came in for garbage time and played less than 3 minutes. See, that's not a good personnel choice to me. If you have a problem with the other team running roughshod over you and just walking right down and scoring baskets, why aren't you going to play defensive-oriented players to stop the bleeding? Yeah, there were some problems there, some real problems there. And, well, Canada got their ass beat, and they are not playing for the gold medal and the winning of the Americup. No, they aren't. Brazil and Argentina will play tonight for the championship of Americup, and we will play for third against USA. And that game will be today at 4:40 this afternoon. I guess if you guys are around on Discord and you want to watch it, well, come check it out with me. 4:40 on our Raptor Freak Discord. I'll be doing a watch along party there, so you can watch it along with me. But yeah, very, very disappointing outcome last night in the Americup semifinals in Nicaragua. Canada, what the hell, man? What the hell? I was speaking y'all up. Your energy looks so good in the group phase, and wow, you really crapped the bed on this one. So, all right now, currently we've got Sandro Mamu in action against Greece and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it's not going so well right now, guys. Let's just put it that way. It's not going so well over there in, I believe it's in Riga or something like that, where they are. The game is over. It is over as of now, 78-62. Oh, no, that's the Italy game yesterday. Let me see. The game should be over almost, though. Let me see. I got to get oriented here exactly right. I was looking at the game from yesterday. Okay, yeah, they played Greece, and the game is over. Wow, they almost doubled them up. That win over Spain looks real good at this point, considering that Giannis and the Greek team just beat Sandro Mamu and Georgia 94-53 this morning. Game just ended recently, very, very in the last few minutes. The lead got worse and worse as the game went on. Giannis definitely leading the Greek team in this game. Let me see what he got. Let's look at Sandro first. 14 points for Sandro on 6 of 13 shooting. He was 1 for 5 from 3 today. He hit his only free throw. He had only 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal. He was a minus 27. Ugh, that is gross, man. That's gross. It looks like Goga did not play. Goga Badzats was not available. The other NBA player for Georgia, the center for Magic, was not available in this game. That's interesting. So that definitely hurt Georgia. But yeah, let's look at it here. Where's Antetokounmpo? Giannis had 27 points in 25 minutes on 9 of 11 shooting. He hit the only 3 he took. And he was 8 for 13 at the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, and 2 steals. He was a plus 45. Giannis was plus 45 today. That's insane. He was definitely the best player on the court. And his brothers were playing with him today. Both Costa and Thanos played in the game today. And, well, they got 2 points in 26 minutes between the two of them. But yeah, Greece with Giannis Antetokounmpo absolutely trouncing Sandro Mamu and the Georgia team this morning. Yeah, that's too bad, man. That's too bad. Nobody really stepping up. Sandro was the leader for Georgia with only 14 points. He had the most points for Georgia. Yeah, that's too bad. That is too bad. So sad. Yeah, so it's not been the best couple days for Canada and our guy Sandro. Sandro losing 2 games in a row now at the Eurobasket 2025. That's right. I was looking at all the different tournaments FIBA does. There's really 4 regions, right? There's the Americas, with us and US and South America and all around there. And then there's Eurobasket, which I was just talking about, the European area. There was Afrobasket that just finished up recently. And of course, Bruno Fernando and the Angola team won the Afrobasket. So they're qualified for the Olympics, and they will be there as one of the African teams. And then there's the Asian Cup that happened actually earlier this month. It finished up, and Australia won. Australia won the Asia Cup with China getting second and Iran getting third. And I'm not sure how they qualify to get into the Olympics. I'm sure that Asia and China will be in for sure. Maybe Iran also for getting third. But I like that. The 4 regions of places. Now, Oceania is another region, but it kind of funnels into the Asia region. Now, what I don't understand is this. Why does Palestine play in the Asia Cup while Israel plays in Eurobasket? That don't make no sense to me. Anyway, I mean, but yeah, Palestine didn't do very good in Asia Cup. They lost every single game they played. In some ways, they're in a tough position no matter right now, just in general with the genocide. Anyway, I'll say that again. People that don't like me talking about the genocide of Gaza, well, 2 finger salute to you. If you support that genocide, you're a monster. That's what I say to you. Yeah. Trevor J. Sam, be a blessing to someone today. Do not always have to be money. Some kind of words to uplift that person and smile on their face. It goes a long way. That's the business I'm in, Trevor J. This isn't necessarily about money. I know Trevor's very benevolent with his funds to people. He's been known to drop a grand on somebody for the groceries at the grocery store just to be kind. And that's amazing humanitarian. But Trevor's saying that it doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be that kind of way. You can do things for other people to brighten their day. And sometimes it's just something silly you might say. And I know that's something for me. I'll say some silly shit on here. And hopefully that does brighten people's day and makes them happier and have a nice Sunday afternoon. That's right. Trevor J, I love you, man. Commissioner Fun, you're the best, man. I love you, bro. Isaac's here. Isaac Campbell, thank you for being here. Benevolent One, holding it down in the nation's capital of Ottawa. Tough loss. Watching the highlights from the start of the game leaves little surprise for how this one ended. Argentina deserved that W. Yeah, they jumped all over us. I feel like there was a fix that was in. Like, all right, I sometimes wonder about teams when they show up so flat and they play so bad. I wonder if there's manipulation in weird ways like the old Celtics would do. The Boston Celtics were dirty. They were a cheating ass team. They turned the heat off in the winter in the visitors' locker room. This is very much documented and totally true. They do shit like in the middle of the night before basketball games at the hotel where the opposing team was staying, they pulled the fire alarms. Now, I'm not sure if the team did that or the fans did it, but that's true. There's all kinds of stuff. The Michael Jordan flu game was not a flu. He had food poisoning. Not many people know that. That game in Utah where he was so messed up and he went crazy and scored a bunch and he collapsed on the bench. It wasn't that he was sick, guys. He didn't have the flu. He had food poisoning from Pizza Hut that he had delivered to him in Salt Lake City before that game the night before. That's why he was sick. It wasn't about him being sick because he had the flu. It was because he ate something that somebody had given him on purpose to make him sick. Now, that kind of subterfuge I worry about sometimes with things like the Raptors. It's one thing on the season when they make a back-to-back where we have to go to Brooklyn or New York on the second night of back-to-back from Toronto. We play a home game here in Toronto. And then the next day we got to fly to New York City and play the Knicks or the Nets the next night. And I know that particular trip from Toronto to New York and the red eye after a game, the night after they don't get in until 3 or 4 in the morning. And that's by design. I know that the NBA scheduled our schedule with a New York back-to-back, with the New York game being on the second night of the back-to-back on purpose because this phenomena happens. Now, in some ways, the guys are just like, well, this is a tough one. We just go through it. Yeah, we'll be in customs at 4 a.m. We'll get to our hotel room at 6. And yeah, it's tough. But I wonder, because Canada looked so much worse last night than they did against Colombia in the first round of the tournament. I wonder if there was some manipulation or something that made them off. Like, was somebody messing with them when they were trying to sleep? Was there something weird that happened that made them so off? Because their energy was so bad. They were lethargic. They were a step behind. What is it? I don't know. I'm not going to be conspiracy theorist, but we have to remember that one of the weird things that can make the outcome of a basketball game change is these outside factors that happen to players. They have personal lives. They could get really crazy news before games and it crushes them emotionally. They could get all kinds of things happening behind the scenes we have no idea about, like that pizza story with Michael Jordan in Utah against the Jazz and John Stockton and Karl Malone. There's the factors that happen that can contribute to them not being the highest body rhythm to play athletically at their best. There have been people that have tried to keep up people and not let them get sleep just so that they could be worse on the court. That has been true. That has been true. In some ways, the city of Toronto was a good distraction for a lot of visiting NBA teams because they go out and party and then they come in and play the Raptors and get their ass beat. That's what happened with Michael Jordan and them, just so y'all know. That's what they're saying in that book, Alex Wong, Prehistoric, that, they had a party and the Bulls went out and partied all night. And then they played Damon Stoudemire and the Raptors in their first year. And they took them lightly and they got their ass beat. Yeah, but only by 1 point. It was very close. Very, very close. So I wonder what was going on with Canada's energy last night. Why the hell were y'all so flat? What the hell happened? What the hell happened? I mean, is it something similar to like how I felt with the Raptors at Summer League this summer? They played really good out the gates, kicked so much ass, and then they kind of crumbled somewhere along with like that game against Sacramento at the Summer League this summer at Las Vegas. I speculated maybe it's because they're not traveling. They're actually just staying in one city for like over a whole week and playing a series of games at the same city in the same hotel, and maybe at some point you just kind of lose like energy because you've just been one place and it's kind of, oh, okay, you're used to this. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I speculated that about the Raptors Summer League, that, they fell apart against the Kings at that point because they've been sitting in the same city in Vegas for a whole week. Maybe they were doing Vegas stuff. I don't know. Was Canada doing Nicaragua stuff the last couple days? I don't know. What were they doing? Waiting around, sitting around? I don't know. Either way, Canada, you did not show up correctly last night and you lost. And you're playing for third place against USA today at 4 o'clock. And that's what's next, man. That's right. You appreciate me hosting? Thank you, Isaac. You want to give me a dunk? All right. Yeah, I'll take a dunk from you. Yeah, we'll try and watch again today. If you guys are around, 4 o'clock on the Discord, I'll be around. So if you have access to there, because you're a member of the channel like Isaac, you can come and get one. I got 80 dunks, y'all. 80 dunks. Neil's here. Good morning to Neil. Losses build character. I said this to Scotty once while he was playing 2K, and he laughed at me. He said, "What are you trying to be, like a coach, Raptors freak?" It's like, seriously, it's like, oh, the losing, it builds character, Scott. It's okay. He's like, oh man, this guy's, what is he doing right here? You start laughing at me. Because it's like Scotty was losing a lot at that 2K back then. I was thinking it's 2K23 or something like that. It was a couple years ago. And Scotty was like, that's what a coach would say. Come on now. That's what Coach would say, Neil. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. Good morning to you, MJ. And Kaz is here also. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to these great fantasy WNBA fantasy teams. Let's go check in on what's going on. Kaz has increased his lead. It's now over 100 over Meredith. It's the last day of this round, and it's going to be really, really tough for Meredith to do this. But he's trying. He's making moves in the middle of the night last night around 1 a.m. to flip his team as much as possible to get his team ready for today. So he's using the max of his transactions and to try and get there against Kaz on this last day of this round of the playoffs. And I'm in the driver's seat against Kareem. I have an over 100-point lead also in my matchup. So it's really looking like Trucker Kaz versus me in the finals next week, starting tomorrow. So yeah, Kaz, we're going to have a third chance to play each other, and you've beaten me soundly the first two times. Well, hopefully the third time's a charm for old Lex. And would Lex win his own WNBA fantasy league? Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to try. Seriously. I'm going to give it a good shot. And the other rounds in the constellation, now it does matter whether Fiercey or Cool Cat wins and JP and Logical Raptors Fanatic, because the winners of those matchups will play each other next week, and the losers will play each other. And it will rank you guys out for the season according to how you finish. And well, James is coming back on Edmund in the consolation bracket. And the winner of that is whoever wins 2 out of 3. So yeah, there you go. There's your WNBA check. There are games today, 2 games. And here's your ref report. Washington Mystics at Los Angeles Sparks. Eric Bruton, number 55, will be the crew chief. Angelica Suffren, number 7, is the referee. And Jeffrey Smith, number 59, is the umpire. Indiana Fever will visit Golden State Valkyries. Randy Richardson, crew chief, number 11. Fatu Sissoko Stevens is the referee, number 15. And Kelly Broomfield will be the umpire, number 25. There's your WNBA ref check for today. Yeah, today. Yeah, Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex. Yeah, I saw that. Fusey saying, some games are dictated from the first 2 quarters, but others can definitely be turned around with the right coaching and motivation at halftime. Yeah. Yeah, and this is the thing. I saw Nathaniel Mitchell getting frustrated and really kind of like, I don't know what he was doing to motivate them, because there were times where it seemed like Canada was trying harder on defense all of a sudden, but it would go away. It wasn't consistent. And it was really demoralizing how often Argentina got such easy points and how Canada couldn't get a stop. They had to get stops because Argentina jumped out on them all over them, but they couldn't. And part of it was, one of the things Canada did really good in the earlier games of America was trapping and stymieing and not letting the other team have anything flowing good or happy. You really stymie a team, they get frustrated, and you can really dominate them. Well, they could not do this to Argentina's passing system. That's part of what I'm saying is team beats talent, is because Argentina had a really good web of understanding about where each other's going to be. In fact, they were throwing crazy ass over the shoulder without looking passes to guys in the corner to get threes. Guy would drive into the lane and he'd turn and he'd flip the ball over his back without looking to a guy in the corner, and he's bombing a three. They were doing shit like that, really showing strong connection and trust and knowing where each other will be and connecting, and then boom, trusting that they're going to hit the three also. Meanwhile, Canada in some ways was not passing the ball between each other. They were not playing off each other. There was a little bit too much of forcing and isolation, one-on-one kind of stuff. And meanwhile, the other team's playing team game, working the ball around and finding open corner threes. They just needed a sliver of daylight. They were taking the shot and they were nailing them. That's the other thing. Argentina did not miss hardly at all yesterday. And that was a huge reason why they blew us out and kicked our ass. Really big part. I wish Nathaniel had really yelled at these guys and gotten them to commit more to defense. Forget about the offensive side. Y'all need to stop them and prove that you can stop the momentum of the Argentinian team. You couldn't. You couldn't. You never did figure out how to stop them or slow them down. And that's messed up when you have players like an NBA player like Leonard Miller around. That's messed up when you have a good defender like Keyshawn George around. These guys should have been able to stop them better, but they didn't. They didn't. And Nathaniel Mitchell could have yelled at them in the first quarter. It tried to change it. He did. That didn't change things. He could have yelled them in the second quarter. Didn't change anything. He could have yelled them at halftime. Didn't change anything. The same energy was kind of always there. It wasn't until Argentina put in their very end of the bench, and the Team Canada start catching up and close the gap to 10 at that point. It's no good. It's no good. No good. Yeah, Fiercely saying 2 points for both the Anaconto brothers combined. Yeah. I mean, they got out there. They played some minutes. It's fun. It's fun. Brothers playing on Team Greece. It's fun. And Anaconto brothers playing. It's just Alex wasn't out there. Where was Alex? Why don't y'all play Alex too? Play Alex and Anaconto. Please. Please. I don't know. Yeah, 2 points for the two of them. 27 for Giannis. That's right. Isaac saying, I salute Argentina for playing good international basketball. Canada didn't have the foot speed in their roster to match that extra pass offense. They seemed to lurch back in their defense when challenged. It just was bad decision making. You know what? Chalk it up to the coach. Pablo had a really good design for what he wanted to do in the game, and they executed it. A lot of it was on making sure you hit your open threes and being quicker and aggressive. And Team Canada was caught sleeping. In some ways, they were just lackadaisical and a step too slow. And that really, man, and they were even times where they could start making a comeback, but they'd get to the line and they miss a free throw. And it's just deflating. That's another reason why you shouldn't miss free throws. If you're down big and you're trying to come back and you finally get something good to happen for you, and you take a free throw and you miss the first one, that really hurts. Really hurts camaraderie and feelings of, we need to come back. No, you need to make those free throws. You need to make those free throws. That's right. Kareem Thomas is here. Good morning, Kareem. When is the USA versus Canada game? All I really care about is beating the Americans. That'll be around 4 o'clock today. They'll have the game today. USA, Canada, third place game for Americup. Yeah, we're not playing later. Brazil and Argentina going to play for number 1 and number 2. So in some ways, some people are saying already we're going to lose to USA. I don't see that, guys. Honestly, we're better than USA. So we need to beat them and put them in 4th. Seriously. This will be fun. This will be a fun game to see who can win this one between them. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I've been looking at all the FIBA websites, Asia Cup, Afrobasket, Eurobasket, Americup. and it's fun. The system and the way that FIBA is set up is really good, man. FIBA is a great product, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods. That's right. We're playing USA today in basketball, and in some ways, there's a dumb tariff thing that happened, and all kinds of dumb stuff that's going on because of the United States and their president. And well, let's support Canadian goods. 100% Canadian goods. Straight goods on Canadian goods. That's right. Today I'm talking about Cactus Club again. That's right. I do redo some of these sometimes. Cactus Club is owned by the Fuller Group, and it's a Canadian-owned family restaurant. All locations are in Canada, and the company emphasizes on local sourcing from Canada producers. So yeah, Cactus Club is a pretty high-end fine dining experience. But yeah, you can go there and check it out and support Canada by going to your local Cactus Club, whether you're on the West Coast, whether you're in Montreal, whether you're here in Toronto, whether you're in the prairies. You know, Cactus Club is a fine establishment for you to go to support Canadian industry and economy. So Cactus Club, Canadian, 100%. There you go. There you go. There's your straight goods on Canadian goods. Real quick right there. Let's go. All right, there's some news that came out yesterday, and this is interesting because we just talked about this guy on the channel a week ago. We did a Share the Love Club for him, actually. It was his birthday, and it was Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin announcing yesterday he's retiring from basketball. So now we've had Marco Bellinelli retire. We're having different people coming. People have been asking Serge Ibaka, are you retiring? You know, but Jeremy Lin has retired as of yesterday, guys. He's retiring from his professional basketball career. And well, let's go look at the Instagram stories. There's Jeremy on his Instagram stories. He's at a fair. I'm not sure if he's at the CNE. He's probably not, but he's at a fair, and it looks like he's in China. And it says day one of retirement, and he's riding on a kid's ride that is like a 4x4 bug. It's like a little bug car, and it's going up and down like this. And it's for children, little children, but he's enjoying it. And that's his first day of retirement. He's riding fair rides is what he's doing. But yeah, he's saying this also to everybody. Thanks for all the love, overwhelmed with it all. My career has been a nonstop miracle from God. There you go. Going out with class, going out like he is right now. There he is. He's getting forever a new Taipei king. His team is honoring him on his way out with his new announcement of retirement yesterday. Forever a legend, forever a king is what they're saying. Jeremy Lin, number 7. And he has a post of a highlight from the Scotiabank Arena. Actually, it was Air Canada Center at the time. I see it on the court. And it's him in New York, and it's 87-87. There's a second to go. And he hits a long three over Jose Calderon to win the game for New York. Thanks for all the love through the years. In some ways, I'm like, Jeremy, you're chanting with us. I know that's one of your better highlights, winning that game winner against us on our home court. But come on, man. Why do you got to make the Raptors look bad on that clip? It is a nice clip for you. But in some ways, why don't you show a clip of you playing in the finals with the Raptors instead? That's what I'm wondering, man. Young Oach. Let's see what Oshai Abaji's doing right now. Actually, Oshai is back in Kansas, and he is supporting KC Current. That's right. That's a soccer team in Kansas City, and he's there supporting them in the soccer league. So young Oshai Abaji is there watching soccer in Kansas City and supporting that soccer club, KC Current. Very, very cool. Savannah Hamilton went out on a impromptu girl date with her friend, and I'm not sure where they went. Her friend, Caitlin, she's with. They were at some show last night. Looks like they had some seats in the back. But who is that playing? I'm not even sure. It looks like the Arkells or something like that. I wonder if they went and saw the Arkells. Who is that? Who is that? I don't even know. I can't tell. They don't know. I can't recognize them. I'm out. I'm not hip. Chris Boucher, Slim Doug has got Snoopy guy dancing in the kitchen again. Guy in the suits dancing with Snoopy and Snoopy dancing. It's a goofy little thing. Can't stop. He likes that little clip. He's posted it a couple times. He likes it. Also, he's got clips from the show From. He's very much promoting this From show. He's really big on it. From on MGM. Thank me later. And please, From team, get season 4, but I can't wait anymore. Let's see, this guy's hooked on From. He has to watch this show From that looks like it's kind of a crazy horror show. Yikes. And then he's also got this saying this Slim Duck, Chris Boucher saying, took the E out of my ego and been on the go ever since. There you go. I got this new lawnmower. It's called an Ego. It's an electric go. It's an electric lawnmower. It's interesting. There's been a learning curve with it, but we figured it out a bit. But yeah, it's an interesting lawnmower. It's a battery lawnmower. In some ways, the battery does run out after a little while out there, but it's been effective and it's working well. And in some ways, I much rather have a battery powered electric lawnmower than a gas mower. We got to get off those fossil fuels in every possible way we can, y'all. So get off them is what I'm saying. Stop letting right-wing politicians dictate new infrastructure that has something to do with fossil fuels. That's the way of the past. We got to go in the future with renewables. So stop being jabronis, people like Doug Ford and Donald Trump, with your fucking cutting back on that kind of shit. The right way of energy for the children is the new way. And the fossil fuel companies have had y'all had y'all as pawns all along, and y'all need to stop. You need to think about the future and think about this planet and stop putting us in fossil fuel situations. Emmanuel quickly is on a boat that has a hot tub, and it looks amazing. Like that is a life right there, man. This guy's riding around in a river next to a city that is not Toronto, and he is on. There's a hot tub there. I'm not sure where he is. I think he's in Miami, honestly. Because there in the next clip, he's at Remy's. He's at Remy's like Gary Trentwood, and he's putting in that work. I can always tell it's Remy's because there's the blue wall and there's pink doors. And that means he's where Gary is. And he's putting in that work playing with there with those guys. Elijah Martin taking in the college football Saturday at Florida. Yeah, he's at the Florida Gators game yesterday. What is their field again? Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Yeah, I remember that stadium. But yeah, Elijah right in the thick of the Gator fans at a big college football game yesterday for the Florida Gators. Of course, he's a national champion for the Gators in basketball. Big ups to Florida State beating Alabama yesterday. That's nice to see. Florida State's had some bad years in football in the last few years. And well, coming out and beating number 8 SEC juggernaut Alabama in a stunning upset victory yesterday, 31-17. I love it, Florida State. You keep going. I know Scotty's smiling about that too right now. I know Scotty Barnes is smiling about Florida State beating Alabama yesterday, just like I am. I know he is. We're Knowles. That's right. Lugette's putting on blast his city of Montreal and all the greatness and the things that he's done. And that's right. And he's got his camp going on. He's coaching the youth right now. And yeah, he's showing his old house, man. I love this post. Nugetz has posted the house he probably grew up in North Montreal, and he's standing in front of it. And it just shows like it's a house like any house here in Toronto. It's like one of these kind of Canadian kind of split level houses. And man, it's kind of cool to see where his humble beginnings come from, man. So yeah, Lugetz, you're awesome, man. You're a champion. You're a Canadian on our team. We love you. We play out for Canada. That's right. Wubbs has a picture of a Nike shoe, and that's it. I can't really tell you more about it. He's just got a black Nike shoe on with white socks. Norman Powell's got a 30% off on his Understand the Grind gear, guys. You use the code UTG Labor Day for Labor Day sales this weekend, and you can get 30% off your Understand the Grind gear that you're ordering from him right now. So yeah, there's a Labor Day sale. That's right, Labor Day weekend, long weekend. There's Gary Trent Jr. at Remy, and I think I can see Emmanuel in the background. So they are working out together at the same place right now. AJ Lawson, where is he? What is this place? It looks like he's at this home court event here in Toronto this weekend. What is it again? Big Baller Guidance for Loved Youth. I'm not totally sure is that where AJ is. Eric Smith's all about the Sky Dome and the Blue Jays right now. He's down there. Another beautiful day for baseball yesterday. Grady Dick, once again. Now, all right, I looked at this a little bit closer. There's a trainer named Key that is working with a group of the Raptors right now in California. And that group right now seems to be Brandon Ingram, Jamal Shed, Grady Dick, and Ochai Agbaji. At least those 4 Raptors have been together in the last few days in California with a trainer named Key. And the guy named Key has posted pictures of Brandon working with Shed, Grady, and Oshai. So yeah, 4 of the Raptors are together over there in California, putting in work together and learning each other better. That's right. Mo Pete has found a shirt he's been looking for 25 years. And it's an old Michigan State shirt, one that commemorated the Flintstones, which is what he was a part of at that time. Mateen Cleaves and himself, 2 of the Flintstones. Well, he's found a shirt that says the Flintstones and has him on it with Mateen and the Michigan State. And he's very happy about this. Charlie Bell on there also. So, yeah, that's amazing that he's found one of these shirts. Maybe he can get it from that person because he wants it. That's right. And Bruno Fernando, the honeymoon and the afterglow of the AfroBasket Championship for Angola still continues. He is so happy. Good job, Bruno, doing that. That's your Instagram stories for today. Yeah, there's Raptors training in different places right now. There's a small group that's in California that's working together. Brandon, Jamal, Oshai, and Grady. Yeah, Grady, that's who's over there. Yeah, Wayne's here. Morning, Rat Freaks. It's getting closer. The NBA? Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm looking at, I just flipped the calendar to September. I know it starts tomorrow. And I'm like, holy crap, Media Day is not until September 29th. Holy crap. I have 4 solid weeks of off-season Raptor Freaks scheduled to do still. Man, this is going to be the hardest month in Raptor Freak stream history. The whole entire time I've been doing this channel, this is going to be the hardest month. And this will be the hardest month ever going forward, too. Because after this year, a lot of this time will get taken up by Toronto Tempo. And it'll be easier, especially if the Tempo are getting into the end of their season and it's getting ramped up and it's exciting. And there may be playoffs and stuff like that for Toronto Tempo. It'll be happening around this time next year. You know, I think the WNBA season ends on the 11th. So the 11th is the last day of the season. So the playoffs for the WNBA really kind of run in the second 2 weeks of September, which will line right up into Media Day and training camp for the Raptors. So I just got to bridge this gap for the rest of this month coming up in September to training camp and Media Day, and I'll be all right. Because once I get the Raptors season this year, well, that Raptors season is going to run right into the WNBA season next year, and then boom, woo, we'll still have off-season stuff. It's just that they'll happen on the second day of day off. In the middle of the season, when there's 2 days off, and there's a second day that's not a game day or a reaction day, that is off-season schedule. And that's, that's the thing. Trivia is not going to happen as often anymore. There's going to be different things that have happened because of this. And it's just how it is. I like doing previews and reactions the best. That's my bread and butter. I really do love previewing games and reacting to them afterwards. It's much more fun than doing the off-season schedule. So I'm not disappointed by this. And, Sunday reports are really difficult to come up with ideas. I was racking my brain all day yesterday, and then I saw, Canada lost, USA lost. Well, let's talk about why. And that's the Sunday report. But yeah, coming up with a topic for this channel every single day. This is the month that's going to be really hard coming up. I might do some goofy shit. Maybe we do something a little different at some times. I don't know. I'm brainstorming and thinking about more kind of ideas that could be possibly new ideas to try. I don't know. We got to figure this out. That's right. It's getting closer. The NBA season is getting closer. That's right. Let's see what's else on my tabs this morning. Let's go check out Raptors Reddit and react to some of what they're saying on there this morning. Yeah, they're talking about Jeremy Lin's retirement on here. Let me see if they're being nice to him in some ways. What are the Redditors saying? NBA champion Jeremy Lin. Carmelo Anthony is in shambles. Jeremy Lin has more rings than Chris Paul, James Harden, and Westbrook combined. And that's just Lin's sanity. That's right. This guy's saying, aside from the Knicks' Linsanity run, the best work of his career was his practice work as the Raptors' game plan for Steph. Yeah, that's actually not a joke. That is one thing that Kyle Lowry said in an interview after the championship, that Jeremy Lin came in and he was supposed to be Steph in the practice. And in some ways, they kind of he was the stand-in for Steph Curry in the way that Fred and Kyle were practicing and training for the finals. So it's kind of cool, man. Cool. That's right. Yeah. This guy's saying, can you elaborate more on practice work? What did Lin do in the practice? Was it detailed somewhere? He pretended to be Curry in practice, running around making cuts like him to get the defense more prepared for when they faced him. I'm assuming that's when doing that, it doesn't help to improve his own skills, but it helps the team be better. And then some guy said Jordan Lloyd did that, not Jeremy Lin. I think both of them did it. It could very well be that Jordan Lloyd was Steph Curry and Jeremy Lin was Klay Thompson. That's what it could be right there. Yeah. Yeah. This says somebody's saying this. Jeremy Lin started out a G leaguer who no team ever wanted, and then he became an NBA champion. What a journey. There you go. There you go. So most of them are being really nice to Jeremy Lin and talking him up for the most part online. There you go. Good stuff. Let's see what else we got on here. This has not been refreshed. There's newer stories because there's a big story that came out of EuroLeague yesterday, Eurobasket. It's about Dennis. Dennis Schroeder got racial taunts yesterday when they were playing against Lithuania and Finland. Of course, Germany is 3-0 and has won every single one of their games so far at Eurobasket. But Dennis was coming off the court at halftime, and a couple of fans were making monkey noises at him when he was exiting the court. And Dennis doesn't take that shit. Like, look, some people may be like above it and just like, I'm not going to react to it. I'm just going to move past it. But Dennis going to call shit out. And he did. He called it out and he made a big deal. And he got a guy banned from Eurobasket. Yeah, he's banned from Eurobasket. And, you know, this kind of behavior is so fucked up and so, I don't know. It's like so 100 years ago. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Come on. We're at 2025, and I know some people are trying to rip us back to 1950 right now, but fuck that shit. And in some ways, we continue to take a stand in these kind of ways. This is important. And I'm glad Dennis made a stink out of it. I'm glad he brought it up and he's throwing it in everybody's faces because he puts the discussion out there. He puts the dialogue out there and he says, this is wrong. This is wrong, you know? So I appreciate Dennis Schroeder. Once again, he's controversial. Some people don't like Dennis, but it is like that, man. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what the Redditors are saying about race right now. One guy's saying, for all the issues we have in Canada and the U.S., it's worth remembering that in many ways, things are way worse when it comes to race in other parts of the world. This nonsense is obviously unacceptable, and I'm glad Schroeder is unambiguously calling it out. Unfortunately, Lithuania doesn't have the best rep when it comes to this. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure if it's a Lithuanian fan or a fan from Finland that's just there. You know what I'm saying? But I think it was a Lithuanian fan. I mean, look, I'm from the Baltics, my family, and I can tell that there's, you know, there probably is some racism in the Baltics for sure. For sure. I could see that being possible, man. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, these guys are arguing about whether there's like worse racism in North America or in Europe right now. It's kind of crazy, you know. But still, this may be too crazy to talk about, especially with what the MAGA and the president's doing right now in the United States. It's really, really bad. All right, yeah, I don't want to go too far into this because some of these comments are crazy, but for the most part, what Dennis did is right. That's what I would say on Raptors Reddit reactions. There you go. There's your Raptors Reddit reactions. Once again, tickets are not on sale for the NBA right now for Raptors games. So do not try and buy tickets from anyone. They're going to rip you off. Everybody trying to buy tickets already. You can't get tickets yet. I know y'all are wanting to go get them right away because you've seen the schedule, but they're not available yet. We would know they're available because the Raptors would send us emails to us directly. If there's somebody trying to sell you Raptors tickets right now, they're scamming you. So don't buy them. Don't buy them. That's right. Don't buy them. That's right. Fiercely saying Curry's cardio conditioning is amazing. Steph Curry. Yeah. Clapping for Dennis. I like that. W for Dennis. Isaac saying Canada will face the United States in the bronze medal game Sunday, August the 31st at 4:40 Eastern time. I don't think it's at 4:40. Yeah, it is 4:40 on there. So it's around 4:40 today when the game will go down for third place at Americup. And I'm sad that I have to say it that way. I was hoping that they would be playing for something more. All right. I have gotten through my tabs, so I'm going to go ahead and do a classic card. There's no birthday today. Nobody is born on August the 31st. It's weird. All right, let me see. I'm just going to pull one here. Yeah, we'll do this one. This one's fun. I've been getting more classic cards that are classic, not as many recent ones. So the older players, the knowledge of older players is good to have on these classic cards that are coming these days. So, all right, full name answer. Don't half-ass. Give me the first and last name of this player, and you can get the classic card points. Who is that, guys? Some ways that's kind of an easy card. I don't know. We'll see how hard you guys struggle with it. And I'll give you, I don't know. It could be a 50-point card or a 100-point card. Let's just see how easy it is. Who is that? Yeah, who is that? Vince Carter is wrong. Did Vince ever play for Charlotte Hornets? I don't think he did. Who is that? Number 2 for Charlotte. It's a weird angle. Yeah, Isaac knows. It's Grandmama. Grandmama. It's Larry Johnson. That's right. Larry Johnson was on Space Jam with Patrick Ewing and Sean Bradley and Muggsy Bogues. But yeah, that's Larry Johnson. It's a weird angle. You're looking up at his chin. That's why it kind of looks at the back of the card. Once again, looks like a Cheetos bag. Where's Chester Cheetah with all that crazy graphics in orange? But yeah, Larry Johnson as a Charlotte Hornet was totally different than Larry Johnson as a New York Knick. And it was because of his back. That's right. Isaac, you know what? I'm not going to deduct points for you just because it's a classic card and you knew it. I'm going to give you 100 points for it. So, yeah, Larry Johnson, Grandmama. Grandmama. You wonder why I call him Grandmama? Well, go look it up. Larry Johnson, Grandmama. You'll find out. It's pretty fun stuff. So 100 points for Isaac Campbell on the classic card today, getting Grandmama. That's right. It was a great era for shoe commercials around that time. Michael Jordan had really made that a medium, a thing because of Air Jordan and all this different stuff he's doing. You'd see some cool commercials with Magic and Larry in the 80s for Converse, stuff like that. But yeah, they got really creative and things like Little Penny came around. Little Penny. You guys remember Little Penny, voiced by Chris Rock? And he was a little marionette and he would be with Anthony Hardaway. And it would be Penny and Little Penny at home watching TV. And Little Penny would be like, "Why did you change the channel?" He's like, "Why? What do you mean?" He's like, "Why did you change the channel? I didn't want to watch this." And Penny Hardaway would be like, "Oh gosh, what the hell, Little Penny? Why are you bothering me, man?" So yeah, it was a weird, like, forced ventriloquist act. Like, I don't think Penny Hardaway ever asked for Little Penny to be in his life. But Little Penny just showed up one day because of Nike. Of course, there's a Mars Blackman series with Michael Jordan saying, "It's the shoes. It's the shoes, money. Money, it's the shoes." And then, of course, the campaign with Larry Johnson as Grandmama. That's right. Larry was doing that Eddie Murphy stuff. And maybe Eddie Murphy stole the ideas for like our Big Mama's House and all that kind of stuff. What's his name? Martin Lawrence. People start dressing in drag. Medea. Yeah, Medea. Maybe they got that from Grandmama. Seriously, maybe there's some influence there. Larry Johnson dressing up as a grandmother, putting on a gray wig and glasses and an old dress, and then dunking, like getting on the court and dunking it like a grandmama. That was a crazy ad campaign. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that one. Larry Johnson as grandmama. It was crazy, man. Mamu mama, mamu mama, mamu mama, mamu mama. Mamu got beat by the Greek Freak. Greeking out and freaking out all over Georgia today. Too bad. Giannis is king. Giannis is king. And his brothers were there to see it. That's right. It was cool. All right, let's see. I'm just over an hour. If there's not much to talk about, well, there's not much to talk about. I guess I'll do a review and we'll get the hell out of here a little early. Yeah, Shaq Lindsay's here. He retracted his message, though. What did you say, Shaq Lindsay? I want to know what you said. He's talking about Trump, I think. I think I saw something about Trump in there. That's okay. Yeah, he's a jerk, man. He's messed up. There's some interesting things happening with him right now. Some people are very much questioning that he's almost dead. Seriously. There's a lot of speculation that Trump is in really bad shape health-wise, and he could die at any moment. There's like things on his hand. It's like a black thing on his hand. And everybody's showing up and looking at it because like the queen had the same thing on her hand before she died. I don't know. This is one thing I will say about cults, because this is a cult. Don't get me twisted here. Seriously, MAGA is a cult. It's a cult. They have a charismatic leader that can do no wrong, and you're not supposed to go against them. That's a cult. That's what Jim Jones did with that Kool-Aid down. Yeah, and that's a cult. That's a Koresh. Yeah, in Oklahoma. That's a Koresh. That's a cult. Well, what happens is when cult leaders die, in some ways, the magic of the cult goes away. A lot of the power that that person had over the people goes away because their replacement is not the same person. JD Vance is already saying, like behind the scenes, he's trying to get ready for the transition for when Trump dies to take over the power. The thing is, he's not as likable or popular as Donald Trump. So in some ways, what the MAGA and the oligarchs are trying to do is ensconce their power and fortify it before there's any kind of transition change like this, so that they can just say, well, we're authoritative in power. But see, this is the thing. They're going to lose a lot of their base and a lot of their charisma when Trump dies. It won't be the same under Vance. People are not going to get behind Vance in the same kind of way. And a lot of the magic of MAGA will be gone. And this is very promising. This is evident. This is true. This is proof from the history of cults and cult leaders. When the cult leader dies, a lot of that power goes with him. So let's pray for that. Well, that happens. Then a lot of the sharpness and the power of MAGA is deflated. Peter Thiel invests a lot of money in JD Vance to get him to where he is right now. And he'll be very happy to have President Vance. But I'm going to tell you right now, President Vance will be rejected by a lot of the people that love Donald Trump. Because first of all, Donald Trump taught people to hate JD Vance a couple of years ago. So a lot of them don't totally trust him. And in some ways, like I said, there's no way in the world that JD Vance can be the same kind of powerful, charismatic kind of cult leader that Donald Trump can be. So this is very promising for things. Listen, if Trump passes away anytime soon, that's going to cause major chaos in different ways. It may accelerate things in society a little faster to authoritative, like violent grabs. But in some ways, him trying to do the things that Trump has tried to do and been somewhat successful will not happen with Vance, because in some ways it's just not the same person and he doesn't wield the same kind of influence. That's what it is right there. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens. That Fiercely saying, my dad told me Trump has schizophrenia. Don't know where he heard that. Well, Trump's brain is definitely scrambled. He's confused quite often. I mean, this is a normal thing for people that as they age, but this is the crazy thing for him is that he's been thrown into a pressure cooker of fire. Do you realize how many people around the world right now are using the power of prayer in a way that they want him to die? I mean, this is something that's real. The power of prayer can very much help people heal and get better. When a lot of people around the world think something together, is scientifically proven the power of prayer actually does do things to help people. And well, there's a lot of people praying a certain way for Donald Trump right now. And those forces that are out there are getting at him. They are. In some ways, he said the other day, I just want to be appreciated. So I'm going to force people to appreciate me by sending the National Guard into democratic cities where they're ungrateful towards me. It's total dictator shit. But in some ways, at the end of it all, just like Elon has slunk off into the shadows and doesn't want to be put out publicly at all. Have you noticed that? That Elon, he found out that being a villain, a public villain, is not fun because everybody hates you and they tell you you're a piece of shit to your face every moment of your day. Well, Elon tapped out like a whiny bitch baby. He went and destroyed the world with his stupid ass rigging of the election and stealing all of our data with Doge at the beginning of the year. And now he's slunk off into the shadows to hide as a coward because he knows he's a villain and we all hate him. And Tesla has dropped in value like crazy. He wants us to forget his part in this whole thing, but we won't. And you are a villain. You're going to get this for the rest of your life, Elon Musk. So, Trump dies. Well, that may be game over in some ways, but it may also be a catalyst for a lot of crazy shit too, guys. Just so you know. Yeah, aging, you're going to lose your marbles to a degree. And listen, if you're in a highly stressful position and like what Trump is in, even if you golf all the time, he's stressed out and he's rapidly aging himself for being an 80-year-old man right now because he's not having a peaceful, relaxed life. He's agitated, he's stressed, he has to do all this stuff. He looks, he eats McDonald's all the time. He's totally unhealthy. Totally unhealthy. And he could drop dead at any moment, honestly, guys. In fact, he had no public appearances this weekend because he's so fucked up right now, guys. Seriously, there's a lot of speculation this shit's coming fast, just so you know. G saying, do you think Canada thought they would win and didn't come out hungry? I don't know. I didn't see the exact start of the game. I tuned in about 7 minutes or 5 minutes in, and they were already down 10-0. They had not scored when I tuned in. And Argentina already had 10 points on the board. So they did start totally flat. Maybe they were a little overconfident, G. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're a little overconfident and they didn't take it seriously enough. I mean, maybe it was a lesson for young Keyshawn George. Because listen, Keyshawn, you're young and you made some rookie mistakes in that game last night. And I could tell. I was like, oh, he's showing his age now. It's like, man, he's got a lot of young talent. He's got a lot of potential. But you know what? His inexperience and his youth showed in the game last night because he was making dumb mistakes and he didn't figure out how to help his team get on the right track to win. Well, he's on the Wizards. What do you expect, Lex? He's not going to figure out how to do that kind of shit on that team. It's that kind of thing right there. Yeah, I think that Canada was a little overconfident. And in some ways, that was a big part of it right there. So, yeah, interesting topics of conversation. A lot of stuff happening right now. Labor Day is this weekend. And, well, hopefully everybody can have a nice Labor Day. Labor rights, fight for the unions, fight for the people, power to the people. That's what I say always, y'all. All right, anybody want to add anything else? I'll do my rundown real quick. Sadly, Canada lost last night to Argentina, 83-73, and they'll play at 4:40 today against USA in the third place game in Nicaragua. The later game will be Argentina versus Brazil for the gold place. And, well, will it be Bruno Cabaco or will it be Pablo's team from Argentina? We'll have to see. Yeah, Sandro Mamu has already lost his game this morning against Greece and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Unfortunately, yeah, in some ways, Georgia now goes down to 1-2 for their part in Group C of the Eurobasket. And, well, they're still qualifying right now to go on to the actual tournament. They're not out yet. So, yeah, they got some time. Sandro Mamu and the Georgia team will next play against Cyprus on Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. So they don't play again until Tuesday. And then they play once again on Thursday at 8 a.m. against Bosnia-Herzegovina. So, yeah, that's what's going on there with that. All right, I think I'm pretty much done, guys. Straight goods on Canadian goods. Eat at Cactus Club Cafe, y'all. Go on down there. If you got your WNBA fantasy, this is the last day of this round. So you better get it going and do it now because you know what? You're not going to have a chance to do it very, very soon. It's the last day. So it's probably going to be Kaz versus me in the finals is what it's looking like. Thank you, Fiercely, for the W. All right, guys, have a great day. If you feel like checking out the Discord at 4:40, come on in. I'll be there, and hopefully some of y'all will be there also. All right, have a great day. I'll be back for a Monday Moment tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. on the Raptor Freak channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the channel if you can. Clip out some of my clips if you like maybe one of my rants on Donald Trump or maybe something on what I talked about with FIBA basketball and the FIBA teams. Clip me out and put me on display in social media. It's like, wow, this guy had a very interesting point about what happens if Trump dies. Stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe we can help inform other people in other places. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And, of course, trivia on Tuesday because, yeah, trivia on Tuesday trivia. Let's go, Canada, and let's beat USA today. That's right. Let's get that third place.